goes to show, even when you are wearing high-vis, knobheads still pull out on you. Anyway guys, that's a good introduction to today's video. It's a beautiful sunny Saturday again, so we're very lucky. And we are going for a ride out and a little chat today, very appropriately, about motorcycle mishaps, like the one I probably just nearly had then. Welcome to my channel. I am Rebel Rider, called that because sometimes I'm out riding my Harley Davidson 88 Iron, sometimes I'm out riding my Honda Rebel 500, which is actually what I'm on today. So today, I mean, God, what a beautiful day again. I've got my sunglasses on. I hate wearing sunglasses while I'm riding, but it is really, really bright. I've got ND filters on my cameras, so hopefully it'll all film okay. But yeah, we're going over to a nice little place I know, and today, funnily enough, I'm going to talk about motorcycle mishaps. Motorcycle mishaps that have happened to me and Paul, my partner, that at the time were a drama, but now we can always have a giggle about, which we do. Now, on that note, I have just nearly had a motorcycle mishap as I was coming past the motorway junction, which is junction 17 on the M6. Some guy nearly, well, he did pull out on me, but luckily I avoided him. Anyhow, I'm alright. He seems oblivious. And yeah, it's just another lesson learned, isn't it? So anyway, let's get on our way and I shall see you when I get there. It's about 4 or 5 degrees today, so it froze overnight. It was -1. Everybody's cars were frosted over. But now the sun's out, it's warming up nicely. And we should get to 6 degrees. So that's okay. I've got my heated gloves on. So we're good to go. It does make you think everyone's going to start pulling out on you. This road here though, it's quite a steep climb in a minute. I'm not sure what the speed limit is down here, to be honest. But I know the road's shit in places, so I'll not go too fast. It's rough. Parked cars on the brow of the hill, not very helpful. I remember when I used to come up here on my 125, it barely made it. Beautiful views up here. Road's a bit rough in places, but just keep my eye out. A lot of salt on the road as well, they were gritted last night. I don't think I'm far from where I want to be actually. I'm just hoping there's not a load of other people there. Well, I can see there's someone there already. Let's see what state this little track's in. Oh, it's not too bad actually. Right, so I'm sat beside these lovely neolithic, so Cheshire's neolithic standing stones called Bridestones. Been here for a very long time. Well, they were actually all ruined until 1920 when a bunch of Manchester University students put them all back together how they should be. Built in the style of a dragon, I believe. So I've filmed them already. Got chatting to a nice guy there who has a very big interest in them. He discovered them 11 years ago and has made it his business to find out all he can about them. He's actually put a leaflet, a laminated leaflet with lots of information about them in a box round at the back there, which was really lovely. He was saying he gets a very special spiritual feeling when he's here. He comes down 3 or 4 times a week. I chatted to him for ages. He was very keen to tell me all about them. And I love that when people share their interest with you, because it means they're sharing what makes them feel nice with you to make you feel nice, which I think that's so lovely. Right, so what I said earlier was, after my mishap down by the M6 where that guy nearly pulled out on me, I was going to talk about some other motorcycle mishaps that I've had in my life in my last 4 years of riding. So in my previous video I said I only passed my big bike test 2.5 years ago, but I've been riding for about 4 years. So the first motorcycle mishap was when Paul and I were getting packed up the night before for our Isle of Man trip in July 2024. I'd got my big bag on the back of my Harley Davidson, because that's the bike I was going on. I think that's the only bike I had at the time. Got my big bag on the back. It was tea time-ish. I was expecting my Morrison's delivery. I was there with my bike, sat upright with my big heavy pack on the back, thinking, oh yeah, this is all right. Saw the Morrison's van come and turn around, thinking, shit, I better be quick, go and get inside ready for the Morrison's delivery. Put my bike on the side stand, or so I thought, because I hadn't put the side stand down. Bike fell over with this big pack on the back. The alarm started going off. Fuel was spilling everywhere. I managed to do some sort of rugby dive out from the other side, so luckily I didn't hurt myself. Paul shouting, what the fuck's going on? Anyway, he came, he ran round, he helped me put the bike back up, put the stand down. Unfortunately, the clutch lever was all bent, and obviously our first thought was, oh no, the bike might not be fit for going to the Isle of Man. Luckily it was. And I rode around with it all week with this bent clutch lever sticking out at a funny angle. Whilst I was away, I ordered a new clutch lever, I can't remember where from, it was somewhere online, and then we managed to fix it when we came back. So all in all, not the end of the world, but at the time it was one of those absolutely dreaded moments, and we always look back on it now and go, oh, do you remember when, and we have a laugh about it. But the moral of the story is, try not to forget to put your side stand down. And the thing was, when it was falling, I still didn't realise I'd not put the stand down. I thought it was just mega heavy because of the big pack on the back of it. Now that bike's 250 kilos, and with the pack on it was probably about 270. Oh my God, I just couldn't, get out of the way of it quick enough. I was terrified it was going to land on my leg or something, but thank God it didn't. Yeah, so that's motorcycle mishap number 1.
Motorcycle mishap number 2. There's a lot more than 3. I'm only going to talk about 3 today, but yeah, there's a lot more than 3. Number 2 was Paul and I had gone over to Rudyard car and bike meet, which is actually over that way somewhere, only 15-18 miles away from home. Anyway, Paul was on his Harley Davidson Road King. Now that has a keyless fob, so that bike is the same as my Harley 883 Iron, doesn't have a key. So he started the bike at home where his fob was nearby, rode all the way to Rudyard, turned his bike off and immediately thought, shit, I've forgotten my fob. So that meant that he couldn't start his bike again. So that day I was on my little Honda Rebel 250, the one that I'm now turning into a chopper. So I had to ride all the way back home, all the way back home, try and find his fob because he couldn't remember where it was, and then ride all the way back again, in which time he'd walked around the lake and had a nice time. So that was another one. And so what do we do now when we're going out? Have you got your fob? Have you got your fob? Have you got your fob? We ask each other 20 times. And then I think what I might do when we go, if we're going over to the Isle of Man or down to South Wales, which we've got a couple of trips planned this year, we're going to carry each other's spare key in one of those, so it's security protected, yeah, so we'll do that probably. The motorcycle mishap number 3 was when we were in the Isle of Man last year, so again, July 2025. I was on my Honda Rebel 500, and I have spoken about this in another video. I was on Honda Rebel 500. It was the morning we were getting the ferry back to England. We'd ridden down onto Douglas seafront, parked our bikes up at the seafront. I'd put my helmet on the sissy bar, locked it on with a bicycle lock, had the key on a little band in my pocket. We'd walked round Douglas. We'd gone into Marks and Spencer's and got a meal deal, sat in the sunken garden, ate the meal deal. The sunken garden that actually has been flooded in the last week. The sea's come over the wall and all the sunken gardens in Douglas are flooded this week, so it's such a shame, it's such a mess. But anyway, as soon as we were like, right, we better go and get the ferry, you know, it's nearly our time to go and queue for the ferry. Gets in my pocket to get this bloody key out for the bike lock, no key. Dash down to the sunken gardens, nothing there. So all I can think is that when I paid for the meal deal in Marks and Spencer's, that it's pulled out of my pocket when I was getting whatever else out of my pocket. Didn't have time to go back, retrace my steps, and it was very unlikely to find this little bike lock key. So luckily, I've got my Oxford little motorcycle toolkit in the very bottom of my bag, rooted it out, and there was a pair of pliers in there. And Paul, fortunately, managed to cut through the bicycle lock with the pliers and got the helmet free. I had visions of having to ride along Douglas seafront with no helmet on, then push my bike to the ferry because there's loads of police around by the ferry. How we avoid that happening now is I've got the helmet lock key on my main set of bike keys, so as long as I don't lose them, I'll be all right. But also, if we do lose them, hopefully Paul will have my spare set of bike keys. So yeah, 3 motorcycle mishaps there that have all happened in the last probably 18 months. All a big drama at the time, and you just wonder how the hell you're going to get out of the situation. But actually, all turned out okay, and all a bit of a thing that we can laugh about now. So yeah, if you do get yourself into any similar motorcycle mishap situations, the main thing is don't panic. Get your thinking head on and think, how are we going to sort this out, or how am I going to sort this out? Now, luckily, in all 3 of those situations, I had Paul with me, but there will be other situations when I'm on my own, and I'll think of them and I'll tell you about those another time. Make sure I've not left anything. Right, so it's time to go. I'm not going to put my sunglasses on, even though it's still quite bright. It's not as bright as it was on the way here, so I'm gonna risk it without them. And I think the sun's behind me now. I'm not going back the way I came. I'm going to carry on across the top here. Say the road's not brilliant, but it's
just different than going back the same way. And there is beautiful views this way. When I was just stopped there, I did notice quite a lot of rust on my bike. Now, this is the problem of riding it through the winter, and that's why I've put my Harley Davidson away for the winter and ridden this. There's a lot more plastic on this bike than my Harley, but obviously it still has rusted. Such a shame. I think when I get back, if I'm feeling like it, I'll obviously give it a clean because I need to get the salt off it. But also I think I'm going to do the chain maintenance. The chain's looking pretty salty and dry and a bit of rust. So my bike's not even a year old, so that's pretty appalling really. Definitely runny nose weather. I've got one glove switched on and not the other, and you can absolutely tell the difference. When I find somewhere suitable, I'll pull over and switch my other glove on. It's bloody freezing. Your hands are in the most vulnerable place to catch the cold air, aren't they? Chicken farm, I think. Ugh. Some things when you ride past them on a motorbike smell lovely, other things absolutely stink awful, and that was definitely in the stink awful category. I think I'm in a 30 here. Big stone just flung up in at me. I think this might be someone's house, I'm not sure. I think it's the old post office. Right, so hopefully you enjoyed my little video today looking at the Bridestones, the Neolithic standing stones, and then sharing my stories about the motorcycle mishaps that we can now have a giggle about. Please do leave me a comment, let me know some of your motorcycle mishaps, And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.